Did Katie just save my life? Was that
Yes,
Katie?
she
Yeah,
did.
of course it was Katie. Um, so your scalp is this entire microbiome. Kind of think of it like a jungle where it's got all of these, it's got a whole food chain and all of these things that work together to make it all happen. It's crazy. When you really dig into the scalp and hair and how the hair grows and what all goes into that, it's wild. I'm fresh off of an hour reading this medical journal. Okay, Mom, I'll let you talk about pH first.
Well, I think because we're going to focus so much tonight on the vinegar scrub kinds of products, we thought it'd be a good thing if we explain what pH is first. So, um, pH is rated from 0 to 14, and things towards the 0 end are very acidic. 7 is neutral, and 14 is alkaline. Now, unfortunately, most hair products are more alkaline. So they're towards the 14 end of the scale. And alkalinity over time can cause things to be incredibly dry, very scaly, dandruff. Those kinds of things typically happen in a more alkaline environment. And so, what the goal is if you find products that aren't as alkaline, or if you use vinegar based products that can push the alkalinity down, then you can have a healthier scalp that's more balanced. So, the goal of your scalp pH is 5.5. That's what you want the scalp to be. So, you don't even want it to be neutral at 7. You want it to be a little more acidic. Don't ever let somebody talk you into putting straight vinegar on your hair. Vinegar is way too acidic. Any type of apple cider vinegar and those kinds of things typically run about 2 to 3, and that can be pretty harsh. It can actually over time eat away at grout and different things. You got to be kind of careful when you're using straight vinegar. It's kind of a scary thing. Not as bad as bleach, but it still is a very scary thing. So the goal of our products is to help push you down from the more alkaline to right around the neutral or a little below that. Because believe it or not, vinegar products can also seal the cuticle, that outside layer of your hair. And remember, if your hair is wet and it has moisture and you use a product that seals the cuticle, you seal that moisture in your hair, which is a good thing. So that's the goal of any product then, is to try to bring that alkalinity down closer to 5.5, which is where you want your scalp to be. So I'm done. Thank you, Mallory.
No, that was awesome. That like really sets the tone. So, understanding your scalp has a microbiome, it needs to be at a certain pH. And what Monique does very well is focus on how can we balance pH, how can we balance the microbiome, how can we reduce all inflammation at the surface of the scalp. They do that better than anything I've ever found. Even in our dog shampoo line, that the pH of our dog shampoo is matches perfectly a dog's skin, which is obviously very different than our human skin. So first and foremost, understanding it's this whole thing going on. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to kind of jump around a little bit, but first I want to talk about our 3 scalp products that contain apple cider vinegar. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
No.
Great. Can you now?
Yes.
Okay. Let me see if I can make you guys big again. I don't know if I can.
This is very pretty.
Is it? Thank you. I am a content creator. Okay, so here are our 3 vinegar products. As you can see in the middle of our wheels, the only thing all 3 of these products share in common is an apple cider vinegar ingredient. And like Mom said, we have both heard of people saying they use straight up apple cider vinegar on their scalp to do a rinse, and it's just not safe. We need our researchers and our chemists and our product developers to put them into a product in the way that we can actually use them and it's beneficial. So let's start with the purifying vinegar shampoo. I will say, of the 3 options we have, this is the least impressive to me with ingredients. The only 2 notable ingredients that this product has are also shared with the scalp purifying scrub. And that is the superfruit AHAs, which we've learned a lot about with our products, and vitamin B6. So the entire premise of the purifying vinegar shampoo is really to help you reduce buildup on the scalp and extend your time between shampoos. That's its main purpose. So it's going to reduce excess oil, restore balance to the scalp, as we talked about with the pH, remove dirt, oil buildup, and neutralize dulling effects from environmental pollutants. It's pretty straightforward, if you ask me. It doesn't have a bunch of frills. I'm not wowed, but also it's a tried and true, serves its purpose. So this is a step one product. It can be used as a first shampoo, or it can be used after the scalp purifying scrub. So if you're going to use the scrub and the shampoo, you're going to use the scrub first, shampoo second, followed by your favorite MONAT conditioner. Next, let's talk about the scalp purifying scrub, which is so cool. If you've ever used this scrub, you know what I'm talking about. I really love to just like do this type of action in my scalp with it, and it dissolves. So it's a scrub that dissolves into this like creamy, shampoo-y feeling. It's so bizarre. But essentially what it's doing is it's exfoliating the surface of your scalp the same way we exfoliate our face. It's going to, again, dissolve sebum and stubborn product buildup, which, speaking of sebum, there is a lot of sebum that goes on your scalp that we don't really think about. It's going to cleanse and purify. And again, this is a step one product, can be used on its own, can be used as a first shampoo, or it can be used in conjunction with the purifying vinegar shampoo as a first use, and then followed by your favorite conditioner. So what this contains, in addition to what the purifying vinegar shampoo contains, is pink clay and then Rejuvenique. So our purifying vinegar shampoo does not contain Rejuvenique at all, which most of our products do. So that's important to note. So the four notable ingredients on the scalp purifying scrub are the superfruit AHAs, vitamin B6, pink clay, and Rejuvenique. And then last but not least, this is by far the most impressive vinegar product that we have. It is packed with impressive ingredients. And it's interesting because I've never done it this way and I don't know anything about how to do it this way, but this can be used on non-shampoo days. I don't get it. I will report back. Mom, I know you've seen, I think Sarah Hill has done it on a non-shampoo day. This is in place of a traditional shampoo. This is a watery rinse. And if you've used it, you know what I'm talking about. It's going to purify the hair and scalp, remove product buildup, dirt, oil. It's non-stripping. So something that this product does extremely well is it preserves hair color. When you look at the product information sheet on this product, it talks about it in several different ways, in several different areas. This formula preserves color. So for especially your fashion color VIPs, your customers that love the bright reds or the colors, this is so imperative. In addition to apple cider vinegar, this has Rejuvenique S, which I think dove in a week or two ago, the difference between Rejuvenique and Rejuvenique S. Rejuvenique S, propanediol. I don't know how to say that. Basically what that is it's a plant-based moisture quencher. It really soothes. It's a high anti-inflammatory. It's really going to soothe and moisturize. Aloe vera leaf juice, which we know again is very soothing. Ginger root extract, black spruce bark extract, and then a plant-derived squalene, which we use in a lot of our skincare products. So you're actually getting a lot of skincare ingredients in addition to hair care ingredients in this, which is perfect because your scalp is skin. Your scalp the skin on your scalp ages faster than the skin on any other area of your body, which is crazy. So I've always struggled to understand like the times that I would choose to use each of these products and how to recommend them. So it's nice to see all three of them here together, in that really the only thing that they all share in common is apple cider vinegar. There's differences in every other way. So that's cool to see. Let's talk about the scalp a little bit. It's so intricate. So as you can kind of see, where your hair grows is pretty deep in there. And it really, really relies on a ton of nerves and cells and keratin and all of these things to take place very deep within the scalp. And it also requires blood flow. So you can kind of see the blood vessel with the blood flow going to the scalp. Um, what's interesting, and we've talked about a hair shaft a lot. Your hair shaft having 3 layers and having like the scaly looking outside. Well, what I was reading in this medical journal is the reason why it's like this overlapping scale pattern on your scalp is to prevent matting. Apparently, if it wasn't this overlapping pattern, your hair would just be all matted, which I'm not fully understanding that, but that's why we have that overlapping shingle effect on the hair shaft is because it prevents your hair from matting. So there are 5 distinct layers here on the scalp. And hair follicles are very densely packed together and they're oriented at an angle. So your hair is actually growing out at an angle, and we call that a bending point. So your hair grows out. Some people's angle is more angled and some people's angle is less angled. And what that does is it determines how your hair comes out of your scalp. So for someone who has no bending point like me, where it just comes out and it's flat to my head, I would assume mine's angled like this versus someone with a higher bending point, their angle's probably a little less angled and it comes out and it gives them volume and then it's like, meow. So they have volume to their hair when it comes out. So that's interesting. Everyone's hair is growing at an angle. Um, there are also large melanocytes that occur within the hair follicle, and that's what allows melanin to be incorporated into the hair shaft. So it's interesting to read about how everybody's getting their different hair colors and how that hair color comes into the process of hair growing. And the only reason I really wanted to share this picture right here is to talk a little bit about how many nerve endings and deep pressure receptors are on your scalp, contributing to everything that happens with your hair growth. So, what I was thinking about as I was reading this is yes, you want to be very careful, but the way that you interact with your scalp, massage your scalp, shampoo your scalp, is helping or hurting your hair growth. So, you used to hear them talk about years ago, brushing your hair before bed would help your hair grow. Well, it's not the brushing of the hair as much, in my opinion, as it is the scalp stimulation. So, stimulating your scalp constantly, and I want to take a look at this device here. Can you guys still see this?
Yeah.
So, this is the first thing I thought about. This hair scalp massager that helps with hair growth. You have so many nerve endings here, which is probably why it really can hurt or feel good when someone plays with your hair. Like, oh, that feels so good, or oh, that really hurts. If a hairdresser's yanking at your hair, it's because you have so many nerve endings, and those are all contributing a great deal to your hair growth and your scalp health. Um, and sometimes in the shower, when I'm really getting there, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this feels so good, kind of like the way a foot massage feels because your scalp and your foot skin are so similar with the very large pores and all of the stimuli connecting to all other areas of your body. So I would recommend something like this potentially. You could use it in the shower. You could use it before a shower with an oil treatment in your scalp. So you put the oil in, you say you're letting it sit or whatever, to really work the oil in to your follicle and also to give yourself that healthy scalp massage. I would use something like this. And I just found this on Amazon. I could send a link in the chat. Nothing crazy. There's lots of options that range between like $5 to $7, but something like this is great for all hair types because it's really going to stimulate blood flow. And that's kind of all I wanted to talk about tonight. I wanted to keep it simple. Mom, is there anything else you want to add?
No, but it would be interested in hearing. I mean, I know I use the scrub every other shampoo as my first shampoo. Just to keep, because again, remember, most hair products naturally are very alkaline. So to try to keep the pH balanced a little bit more, especially in the winter, because you want to keep it from being too dry. Anybody else using any of these three products and have any experience they want to mention?
I
Not everyone
use,
at once.
I'll
Go
I'll
ahead.
start, and then someone else please jump in. I'm sure Katie has a really
Why
good.
don't Mallory, why don't you take it off of the share
Yeah,
screen
that's what I'm
thing?
I'm trying to figure out how to stop sharing. Give me one second. I'm new to sharing screen on Zoom. Um, new
At
share.
the top, at the top, it should just say
Oh,
stop
stop.
sharing.
So I use the purifying vinegar rinse a lot, and I use it as a first shampoo, and I absolutely love it. What you're gonna notice with that is softer, smoother hair. That's the first thing anybody's gonna notice. 83% say softer, smoother hair, color safe for 20 washes, color locking, moisturizes the hair up to 12% more hydration in one use. 89% of people in the clinical trial say hair looks shinier. 80% say experienced improvement in scalp hydration after just one use. Um,
I think what's interesting on that, and I hate to interrupt you,
oh
but
God.
I have it in my shower, and if I've used it, it's been a very long time because I use a scrub. But I didn't remember until Mallory said something to me earlier that it lathers. The purifying rinse actually lathers. So, keep in mind, pick one of these and try to use it every other shampoo, every third shampoo, at least as your first wash, I think, especially in the winter. Um, or I guess it could be depending where you're at in the summer, but especially then just to try to keep the dryness out.
I wasn't sure if Neil
So,
was about to like pop off and say something. Was someone else
well,
about to talk? No. Um, it also really helps to dissolve dead skin cells. So what you have to keep in mind too, especially if you've got a new customer who's new to Monat, what Monat is doing better than anything else, and what a lot of our products are doing very rapidly, is cellular turnover. So you got a lot of cellular turnover going on the scalp, which means you're going to have some dead skin cells going on, probably more than usual. Um, so this is really great, especially for a new customer, because it's going to help to eliminate a lot of their product buildup from whatever product they were using previously. It's going to help with the cellular turnover to really get the dead skin cells, off. And it's a good scalp exfoliant, even though it's not an exfoliant like the scrub. um, I would make sure that over the course of time, people have at least the scrub and the purifying rinse. But I absolutely love the rinse. I use the rinse almost every time I wash my hair. That's how much I love it and how much I use it. And just recently, I've tried to start using the IR clinical a lot more again after we did that training, because like, okay, I really want to focus on really thick, good, healthy growth. Um, but yeah, if you were gonna blindly recommend one of these three to somebody, I would do the rinse. That would be my first recommendation, and then the scrub. All right, Neil, hit us.
Hi. Hi. Okay, so I actually, when we had that bundle sale, every cart that I made, I got 4 new VIPs, and every cart that I made, I did a system for like I did their regular system that they needed, and then I also added the scalp purifying system. And I talked about basically everything that you guys are saying, obviously with the scalp health, but I recommend the scalp system to every VIP and the oil along with their system. So flex ships, I utilize that when I have conversations with people too. I really need to wash my hair. It's been in a hat all day with an oil treatment, and my go-to is the scalp scrub and the rinse every single time that I'm like, I would say just like your mom, probably every 2, maybe 3 washes, I do that.
And do you do that predominantly after oil treatments? Like, what's your favorite thing to break an oil treatment with?
The scalp scrub,
Okay.
typically. Yeah. Yeah. As my first one, I love the scalp scrub. Like I rave about it. Now, Jace, my son, for those of you that don't know, he's obsessed with the shampoo. He loves the shampoo, the purifying vinegar shampoo. Like he's obsessed with it. So I'm like, you can't use that every time. So I let him use it like once every couple weeks as his first shampoo, or if he wants to use it as both, that's fine. But He loves the shampoo.
Has he articulated why?
He thinks it makes his scalp feel cleaner.
Well,
Oh,
think about it. He's a pubescent boy who's
Yes.
more oily than
Yes.
us.
Yeah.
So again, you're teenagers. Really, really good point.
Yeah.
Really good point. Like,
Yeah, he loves it. And
fine.
he's got like thicker hair too. So like it's not like he needs something else. Like his hair feels so nice after he does it. It's really great. And the rinse, I have to get my hair colored. Like my hair grows so fast. So I have to get my roots done. Like I probably should go every 2 weeks, but I go every 4. And I have to use the rinse to lock in the color that she puts on. Like I love it. I love
yep.
it, love it. So that rinse is a game changer too. Just like you said, like the softness of your hair after. I preach about it all the time.
And I think that's what's so confusing is when people think apple cider vinegar or any vinegar product, they think, "Oh, that's acidic, that'll ruin or that'll burn," and they don't realize it actually closes the cuticle and it makes your hair shinier. I mean, it's actually a really good thing. And I think it's same thing when we talk about using oil for people who have oily skin and oily scalps and oily hair, and they go, "Why? Oh, add more oil," and it's counterintuitive. So I think we have to do the same thing with this a little bit too, and say to people, this actually won't dry you out. It's the alkalinity that's drying you out, not the acidity that's drying you out. And I think that's why people get it really confused. So,
I think that's a great point. That's a really good point. I actually have a girl that was complaining about she only uses the oil right now, and I'm trying to convert her over to our other products. But she was complaining about like she's got like not scabs, but she's got little like dry spots or almost scabs like on her scalp. And she's like, my son's getting it too, and my husband's getting it. And I'm like, I really think you need to switch over. But I honestly think the purifying system would be a great starting point for her to just get everything balanced.
yeah.
Even if she's not ready to switch to the hair care lens, what if you recommended the rinse before whatever hair care she's using?
Yeah.
Like that might be what gets her to hot.
Yeah. I have same thoughts. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyone else have any
I feel like
vinegar
Katie Farmer
experience?
does.
Yeah, I'll share from a curly girl's perspective. I'd love to hear what Sarah has to say on this too, but for me, I love the purifying shampoo for my first wash to really help break up the buildup. We use so many products as curly girls, and I personally oftentimes wet my hair, condition it, and then put more products on. And so by the time I'm ready for a wash, that purifying vinegar shampoo really helps. I do the scalp scrub every other wash, but not every single time, mainly because my boys steal it from me because they love it. But I always have to follow either one of those. I really do have to follow up with the Renew shampoo for my hair to put some of the moisture back in. But when I do, my curls pop. Like the volume, the lightness, it's like soft and shiny. And if I ever feel like my curls are being weighed down when I use the scrub, it will just pop my curls. So yeah, that's my
And Katie made a great point about
2
balancing.
cents.
Um, when you do use a product that is a little bit more clarifying, it is important. Okay, choose your shampoo number 2, choose that shampoo with a lot of thought in mind, like, hey, what did I just do to my hair? So with each product, it's like, okay, what did I just contribute or take away from my hair? And the equation, once you get out of the shower, needs to be balanced. So between shampoo number 1, shampoo number 2, and conditioner, you need to be balanced. You can't have too much of one thing or stripping too much and not replacing. It's all an equation of removing oil buildup, environmental, buildup, yada yada, and then replacing moisture, replacing hydration, replacing all of these things. So that's a good point with the Renew shampoo. I would agree. If I'm going to use the purifying rinse, I'm probably going to follow with Renew shampoo.
That's a great point. I have to do the same thing. I'm glad Katie said that. I have like a wavy, naturally wavy hair, and if I don't add the Renew shampoo in after, my hair is done for.
Sarah, do you have anything to add from curly girl perspective?
Everything that Katie said, I honestly, I'm not a Renew fan, actually, which is weird. I'm more advanced hydrating. Um, and I used to do black 2-in-1 for my first wash in the beginning, but I've also gotten away from that. But I will do a purified every single wash. So if I'm doing the scalp scrub, which I love, I will do scalp scrub and the rinse as my second, and add in a little bit advanced hydrating with that. And then on the days that I don't do the scalp scrub, the purifying vinegar shampoo is my first wash. So I'm always doing something of the purified line.
Wow. That's great. I mean, now we've heard several people, which I did not know other people were doing that. We've heard several people say, I use a vinegar product every time I wash my hair, which is wild. I wouldn't have guessed that.
But I think Katie's point is really true too. She puts so many products on her hair. I think it takes a little bit more to get it off. You know, we used to tell people that we always obviously encourage you to wash twice, but I know some people, especially people with really thick, coarse hair, when they first start using any Monat products, Katie's saying 3. I would tell people you keep using it until you get a really, really, really solid foaming. And that may be 2, 3, 4 washes to get to that point every time. And so I think that's the difference, Mallory. If I put the amount of hair products on my hair that Katie put on her hair, it would look bald. It would be flat to my head, because I just can't. I have to go very minimal on it. So I need less to get it off. If I did the purifying every time, it would just be way too much for my hair, for my
That's
scalp.
true. That's a good
So
point. And it also probably depends on how often you're washing. Like, if it's been a week since I've washed my hair, you bet your butt I'm vinegar rinse first wash.
now remember, it's not a race. It's
It's
not a
not.
race.
And I'm so glad we talked about that a few weeks ago. It's not a contest, and
No.
we should be washing every 3 days at least.
Especially remember your new clients. Tell them they want to get the good products on their scalp as often as they can. So the more they wash, the quicker they'll see results. We equated that to going to the gym. If I go to the gym once a week, my results are different than if I go to the gym every day,
Yep.
right?
Gotta get
So
hands
you
on.
got to get the stuff on there for it to do its thing. And so keep that in mind that some of them are going, if they're waiting longer between washes, they may need something pretty heavy to get the hair product off the buildup off every time.
Oh, and also, before we end, as we end, oh wait, so I was told to use the vinegar
Closes the
rinse
cuticle.
after shampooing as it closes the cuticle. Is that correct? It does close the cuticle, but I'm still not
You still want to follow up with a
good.
conditioner.
You
The
still
only
have to use
time,
conditioner, yeah.
yeah, the only time you want to watch, remember we talked about it a little bit, if you use replenish mask, you have got to condition after that.
Well,
That is, but
Erica brings up a good point though, because she's saying first versus second shampoo. Like when would
oh
you
yeah.
use it? Really,
I'll
I
just hop on.
yeah. Explain.
So I mean, I do use conditioner. That's not what I mean. Sorry. So some people have been using the rinse first, but I got told to shampoo and then your rinse and then your conditioner. Is that right? Instead of using the rinse first, like you said, Mallory?
So it depends on the purpose of why you're using the rinse. The rinse, when used first, is going to do more of its due diligence with breaking up the stuff you've got going on. I would personally probably rather use it first and then use something to replace a little moisture like Renew and then condition, because if you're conditioning anyway, you're closing the cuticle anyway. So I think I would prefer to use it first. And that's what the product information sheets are saying. Not that I always follow that stuff. I think we know better. Like us in the field who've been in this, like y'all, we've been in the field for years. Like we know better than these product information sheets. But I would still say use it first. Yeah, because Erica, like we're conditioning and we're like leave-in conditioning. We're doing so much cuticle closing that that's not really like the primary concern, you know? But I don't think
But I
it's
don't think there's
wrong.
any harm. Yeah, I don't think it's
Exactly.
wrong.
There's no
Uh-uh.
harm. And
Uh-uh.
maybe it doesn't matter at all. Maybe I'm overthinking it and it absolutely doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But
And remember, what works for one person may not work for someone else too. And so I think about how often somebody has given you advice and you tried it and you've gone, oh gosh, I can't ever do that again. I'm gonna
True.
have to wash my hair again now because I've got a mess. So you got to figure some of that out for yourself. Eric, I think if it's working for you or whoever is doing it, as long as you
True.
condition after, I don't I don't know that it would matter. Try it both ways.
Any other Canadians want to say anything so I can hear more accents? Or only Canadians can speak, please. Anybody? Erica, you
Oh
got more
my
to
God.
say?
That,
You want to
that
say
was
sorry?
great.
Thanks, y'all. Thanks, y'all, for coming out.
Thanks, y'all. That
Hey,
was
you
good.
got a lot of Texans on here too now that Caitlin's on here. We're
Yeah.
getting balanced out a little bit. So
That's good. That's funny. Sometimes, to Erica's point, some like Erica, it depends on my hair, like what my hair is doing, I guess, and the time of the year with the humidity, especially here, up and down, depending on the season. I can do the scalp scrub as like my first shampoo and then the rinse as my second. And then I can condition depending again, the moisture in the air or not. But like right now I need the extra hydration and moisture. So I'll add on, like if I do the scalp scrub and then I do the rinse, I will also add on the Renew shampoo right now. So it just depends on your hair, everyone's hair type, the time of year, the environment, what's going on, weather, all that good stuff.
yep, where you live, Arizona is going to be much different than Florida, than Canada. So where
Which
you live really
we have
factors in too.
Arizona.
We have Arizona here too. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
we've got some representation. Yeah, I love that because like with some Monat things, like there's a clear right and wrong answer, and with that one, there's just not, I don't think. Yay. Anybody else have anything? I think that's it. We'll let you know what we're doing next week. We'll try not to make it another surprise, but yay. Thanks for hopping
Does
on.
anybody have any requests on anything they'd like us to cover next week? If we started doing like hair types, is there anybody who has a client or had an issue?
Yeah, send us some stuff. If so,
Hey, drop something in the chat if there's something specific you want us to focus on.
yeah.
And it's not that we have
Mal-
anything, any
real
lineup.
quick. Mallory,
Yeah.
I just wanted to add real quick. So I was having a big issue with my hair, and breaking off. So moving down to Arizona, completely different environment, as you know. Not only that, we had a water softener system, but somebody didn't know that they needed to put salt in it, and so we didn't have a water softener system. So I will tell you, for a year and a half, like my hair was breaking off. Like I was having big issues, like not knowing what's going on. And since December, like my hair is growing like a weed now because I have salt in the water softener system. The system's working correctly. My hair is night and day different. So maybe just so y'all know, if you live in a drier climate and you have issues with a customer and drying hair and different things,
Yeah.
they need a water, you have to have it. No matter what you're using, you have to have a water softener system.
Yeah. And
Or you can get the shower heads too. I
yes,
know a lot of people
exactly.
recommend the shower heads if you live, because a lot of people from Ohio that we work with have well water, and then and that becomes an issue. But you can get the ones that screw into the shower if you need some kind of filter there too.
Yeah, that's a great point. It all starts with the type of water.
Water.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I've had a heck of a time. I don't have a water softener at this house, so I just have a shower head. Okay,
And
yeah.
you know what's so funny about it? I do have a water softener, and Mallory and I are really into this Blue Land soap company now, where they come like pellets and you drop them in, just because it's non-toxic and everything. And Mallory said to me the other day, Mom, when I mixed my soap, it's so runny. And if for a minute I had to think about it, I have a water softener, which makes everything suds up more. And so we were putting in the same amount of water, and you realize how quickly then the difference hard water makes. Hers won't suds up, and mine is a foaming mess. And it's the same exact thing. And
Yep.
so, that just goes to show you how quickly that plays into your hair. So I told her to put less water in when she mixes her soap, or put 2 pellets in, because she's going to have to get more soap in there to combat the hardness of the water.
Well, and I think what we should end with too is when you are doing your hair assessment with a new individual and you're trying to prescribe them the perfect lineup, that should be a question that you're asking is what is your water system at home look like? What type of water are you using to wash your hair? That should be a question we're asking, and I fail to ask that sometimes. So that's a good reminder.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Cheryl, next week we'll definitely, I think like let's continue to talk about hair and scalp in depth a little bit before we venture into all of these other products, just because like we really got to set the foundation and cover the backstory of stuff. So I agree. We'll talk about that next week. Thank you guys all so much. I hope you have a great week. Oh, and reminder, they extended for new market partners. They extended the whole Tulum 3 times GB thing till the 15th. So if you didn't catch that, that's been extended until the 15th, getting to MMP for the first time. That's huge because GB for a newbie is what's going to keep them behind the 8 ball for their Tulum qualification. So, yep. Anyway, all right. Thank you guys so much. It was so good to hear from the Canadians tonight. Love you guys. See you next week.